So, hello and welcome to the Human Behind the Career Brand podcast. I'm the host, Jeanette Walton. I'm a career brand consultant and a Humans Matter champion, committed to helping others to deep dive into their many human facets that make them unique, fabulous beings. Research is indicating that humans more than ever are craving human connection across both professional and consumer contexts. And this is despite, and maybe even because of, the onslaught of AI and other digital technologies. My primary mission with this podcast is to inspire each of us to value and appreciate our multifaceted strengths, experiences and offerings, and that's both as professionals and as human beings, and to highlight that human stories and connections will always matter, both personally and professionally. So I'm so excited to introduce my next guest for this podcast series, who is Alex Sy. In addition to Alex continuing to provide business mentoring through his own Atlas Business Consulting and Mentoring Services, which is based on his decades of experience establishing and running small businesses, Alex has for many years been involved in the establishment and enhancement of trade and other business and commercial relations between Australia and the Philippines. This includes as the founder of the Philippines-Australia Chamber of Commerce and Industry and as the former Vice President of the Australia-Philippines Business Council. Also as a business mentor for the Founder Institute Philippines and as the founding president of the Filipino Chefs Association of Victoria. Now, in addition to these expansive cross-cultural contributions, Alex is also a supporter and voice ambassador for Beyond Blue, which is wonderful. He is the Vice President of Life Activities Clubs Victoria, and he continues to be a mentor and advisor to a diversity of community grassroots, multicultural groups, such as Startup Island PH. So welcome, Alex. It's such a pleasure to have you here on the Human Behind the Career Brand podcast.
Hi, Jeanette. How are you? So thank you so much for this opportunity. What an intro. I said, oh my gosh. When somebody read your intro and I said, oh, I've done all that.
Exactly. No, I think we forget or neglect what we've done. Yeah.
That's right. And just one clarity. I'm the current president of the Life Activity Clubs Victoria.
Great. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
There's just so much to list out, Alex.
Thank you.
So I really want to deep dive into the Australia and Philippine business relations that you've been heavily involved in. What drives you to build and strengthen those relations?
So we've observed in the past few years that there's a lot more Australian companies who wants to do business in the Philippines because Philippines is a country where the second language is English. So English is well spoken over there, and most of the workforce is very well educated. So I think a lot of Australians find that very, inviting and to do business there. And there's a lot of opportunities also from the companies in the Philippines who wants to do business here in Australia as well. So that's why the Australian Philippine Business Council was developed to bridge that gap between the two countries. So the Australian Philippine Business Council has been going on now. We just celebrated 50 years this year.
Wow.
And
it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. It is, and it's quite strong. And basically, we have a large presence of Philippine business here in Australia, as well as overseas in the Philippines as well. Particularly banks, Converges, you're looking at Westpac, ANZ, NAB are in the Philippines. So it's really providing and creating those opportunities.
I actually was approached not that long ago by a VA, virtual assistant business based in the Philippines. And their pitch was so professional. I gave them such glowing feedback. I'm not in a position at the moment to use their services, but I was so impressed with their pitch. They really know how to appeal to markets like Australia.
Yeah. And basically the dynamics has now evolved because it's now more towards Filipinos being more advanced in towards VAs and looking at content creation. You're looking at software development. So their professionalism and enhancement in their skill set has also elevated, which provides that solution to a lot of companies around the world. And when you look at the dynamics between Australia and Philippines is only 2 hours behind from Australia. So Australian companies who wants to communicate, it's only 2 hours, unlike others, which is 5, 6, 12 hours behind.
And
so
some.
it's kind of,
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's a bit challenging. So that's why Philippines is a country very attracted to Australians to do business.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. The tyranny of time zones. I have clients all of various countries, including as far as Europe. Yeah, I mean, if I try and work with someone like in Canada, for instance, and that can be like a 16-hour time zone difference.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so that is very appealing. I totally agree. And how do you think the work you've been doing in this space has really benefited you at the personal level?
Well, being born in the Philippines, the grassroots knowledge of the Philippine culture and looking at how to do business in the Philippines. So it's really helped a lot of Australians to understand how the Filipinos think, the landscape in the Philippines as well is looking at cultural immersion. Actually, 2 years ago, I took some of my clients to the Philippines because they want to set up a back-end office for their accounting firm. So I gave them a bit of cultural understanding, cultural immersion in terms about what Philippines is all about. And I took them for 7 days and to set up an office and hire local people. And they were so blown away how technologies are so advanced and there's so many talent in the
Yeah.
Philippines that can really fulfill their requirements. And that's the opportunity now Philippines presents to the world, particularly in Australia, about the skills and enhancements that the Filipinos can provide for companies in Australia.
Yeah, and I imagine it's a bilateral relationship, yeah? So
Yeah,
there's benefits for
absolutely.
both sides.
That's right. I mean, you look at there was the traffic light system here in Melbourne, the countdown that
Yeah, the
so
toot, toot, toot,
so
toot.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly right. So the Philippines adopted that technology over there as well. So there's that bilateral arrangements
Yeah, it's going both
between the both
ways.
countries. Yeah,
Yeah, wow.
exactly. And I didn't realize this that I think tuna has been, it's been not farmed. The tuna here in Australia, it's been sent to the Philippines to be
Yep.
processed and produced
Oh, yeah.
and because of the facilities there as well. So there's a lot of manufacturing plants, which a lot of Australian companies are currently using because of the infrastructure and also the cost of shipping from Philippines to Australia isn't really expensive as compared to other countries, which is
Yep.
the distance is too far.
Yeah, I think that's a shift in the Australian landscape in terms of, being colonial. There was always the
Mm.
relationships with other Western countries, wasn't there? England,
Yeah,
America, and we've got these countries up in Asia so close by. Yeah, it's great to see us strengthening those relations.
exactly.
And how do you think the work you've been doing in this space has benefited you professionally?
But because of my business skill sets, I was able to interpret what the people want, what the businesses understand and require. Because from a business mindset, and I can understand, okay, this is what you need because it will enhance your level of service to your clients. And I can say to them, listen, this is a group in the Philippines, which is the Australian Philippine Business Council also has a sister organization in the Philippines called the Philippine Australian Business Council. So they
Right.
actually, cross-pollinate and help each other because it bridges that gap once again. And also it helps businesses to actually to navigate their way through how to set up a company in the Philippines as well. So it actually helped them. And the Philippine consulate, the trade delegate also has great, how can I say, knowledge and assistance that can provide companies who want to do business in the Philippines. And
Yeah. Okay.
In Victoria, there's Global Victoria, who has a lot of connections and also footprint in the Philippines as well that can help. And that's why I was able to connect businesses to these organizations and also Austrade as well, and to connect them professionally into doing business in the Philippines.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you have those connections, but you
Mm.
also have that business acumen to help people identify what would be the best connections for them. Yeah. So yeah, that's
That's correct. And the good thing
yeah.
about it, because like I said, I was born in the Philippines, I grew up in Australia. So, I have this Australian culture as well as the Filipino roots. I
Yep.
said, what a great combination.
And it must be so rewarding for you to watch these relationships and bonds strengthen between the two countries that you feel so passionate about. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the relationship between Australia and Philippines dates back 80 years.
Ah, okay.
And during World War II, General Douglas MacArthur, the Supreme Commander of the Allied forces in the Pacific, retreated from the Philippines and came to Melbourne and set up headquarters because the Japanese was overwhelmed.
Wow. Never knew
So
that.
he came, yeah, so he came to Melbourne and he set up his headquarters in Collins Street, one of the buildings there. He was there, he set up the head office, and after 2 years, he went to Brisbane before he went back to the Philippines and liberated Philippines. And the common line of General Douglas MacArthur was, "I shall return." So
Wow.
there's always been that close bond, close relationship between Australia and the Philippines dating back to World War II. And if you want to go back further in the 1920s, 1930s, Australia hired Filipino men from Manila. So they called them Manila men as pearl divers up in the Darwin west coast
And
of
Broome and all
Australia.
those areas, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, and those Manila men decided to stay, so they assimilated and married locals. And
Yep.
when I was in Darwin and I saw a book, and it's about this Manila man, the Filipino man, marrying indigenous women, and to this day they have their descendants. And so I said, wow.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it dates back that far, that relationship between
Yeah,
Australia and the
historic
Philippines.
ties. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that actually may answer some of my next question, but I'll throw it out there and see if there's anything
Sure.
else we can add. I like to do a bit of research before each of these episodes, and an interesting statistic that I found out that I didn't know about is that the Philippines is Australia's second closest strategic defence relationship after the USA. So I was going to ask why you think that
Absolutely.
is. Is it because of those historical ties you've just been talking about, or is there more to it?
It is those historical ties. I mean, like I said, it dates back to World War II. From there, strategically, they're positioned, and Philippines sends their sort of like cadets to Australia to learn and understand, and they have this bilateral arrangements as well about sharing knowledge of defense. So it dates back during those times.
Yeah, wow, there you go, I've learnt something. And what would you define as your main superpower when it comes to establishing commercial opportunities between Australia and the Philippines? What's your main superpower, do you think?
Well, it's really understanding the needs, understanding that, looking at mutual benefits between both countries. Let's say Australian companies who wants to set up a manufacturing plant in the Philippines. It's really understanding why they want to do that. It's creating opportunities for the Filipinos, looking at creating employment opportunities as well, and also enhancements to the service of. So it's really the superpower is really understanding from a business point of view and how that relates back to the community as well. Is it actually helping the community by providing employment, by providing a better standard of living?
So would you say it ties in with CSR and like community social responsibility, the investigations you undertake?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the cross relationship between Australia and Philippines is based on mutual respect and mutual benefits. And then looking at, what advantages does it bring to the community? You talk about social enterprise before, introduce some investors here in Australia to invest into a social enterprise program feeding the village. They make thongs, they're slippers,
Yeah.
and these slippers it's designed for people who love to surf, in the surfy type
Ah,
thongs
yes.
and for the
Very popular
beaches.
in Australia. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And the lady who started this is basically started because she wants to help the community in this little poor village where she lives.
Love that.
And so the whole community got behind that to manufacture these slippers and thongs. And I had an investor introduced to them, and they importing a box here into Australia to sell. So it has that mutual benefit
Yeah,
because it
that's
also
great.
helps the community. So I guess that's what I'm looking in a way. How can it help the community? One, will it enhance the relationship between two countries? Yes. And it also helps Australian businesses here, and it works both ways.
Yeah, yeah. So it's social empowerment as much as it's economic empowerment.
Absolutely. So important.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. And what would you say drives you to be a representative of the Philippines in Australia? Like, how do you think, we're going a bit deeper here, how do you think cross-cultural connections benefit all of us?
First of all, it's really understanding each culture because, it's really, and as I said, I'm so truly blessed to be here in Australia and call myself Australian citizen because the footprint I had in Australia is really embedded, and to also share that cultural experience to the Filipinos in terms of what Australia is all about makes them an understanding. So when I was in the Philippines earlier this year, I did 2 workshops and I talked about Australian values, about, the Australian values about giving a fair go. As long as you do good, you do best. Australians believe in a fair go. Australians are very tolerant people and they're very giving people. And the Filipinos need to understand that. at the same time, it's about educating Australians about what Filipinos all about. Family orientated, values,
Yeah.
religious, educated, and, they're all about food and karaoke singing, so it's types of cultural introduction between the two countries. And I firmly believe in that because the more you educate the two cultures to bring it into as one, it's a powerful relationship.
And let's face it, the world's getting a lot smaller, isn't it? I mean, and I do posts about this. Like, I think LinkedIn is making the world a lot smaller as well as all the other technologies. Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
we're global citizens now, but we want to maintain the cultural differences that make us unique and special, and so that cultural intelligence is really important, isn't it? You don't want to be entering a country and taking over their culture. You want them to
Uh,
maintain their culture and have that mutual respect of each other's.
Really, it's about understanding each other, and it's about cultural assimilation as well. Because when I came to Australia in 1976, and I went to high school in Parkville, and in my Form 1 class or Year 7 class, I was the first Asian in the whole class. So it's about
Wow, that must have
assimilation.
been hard. That must have been hard.
It was challenging, but you know what? I never had the fear in me because, like I said, Australians are so giving. Australians are so fair, and you talk to them. I had a broken English because English, like I said, was a second language.
Mm.
Because our English in the Philippines is American toned,
Yeah,
so
okay.
it was very hard to communicate in a way. But you know what? My greatest friends were Aussies. They're wonderful, so wonderful. And it's like I said, and I want to have those two cultures to understand each other so that they can easily understand each other from that.
Yeah, yeah, that's what we were saying earlier. Like, for you to watch these two countries bond must be a
Mm,
wonderful thing based on having connections to both countries. And
yeah.
I love hearing that Australians have welcomed you with open arms when you first came. That's always lovely to hear. What would you say has been your most outstanding achievement in terms of Australia and Filipino relationship building?
I guess be able to connect businesses who wants to do business between the two countries, to be able to connect them to the right people so they can establish their opportunities either in the Philippines or here in Australia. Like I said, when I took some of my clients to the Philippines to establish their office there, they were so grateful. They were so happy that they were able to, employ Filipinos over there to help their services here in Melbourne. At the same time as well, Filipinos who wants to do business here, whether it be importing products and to connect them to the right people, to the right distributors, because if I'm able to connect people that can benefit from each other mutually, and I'm so happy, from that can
Yeah.
establish that connection. That's why networking is so important. It's about networking based on collaboration and based on mutual respect, not just for you don't abuse that privilege, but you work together.
Not just for lead generation and making money, and yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. And if you ever need a bag carrier when you're doing one of those expeditions to the Philippines, I'm here.
Yeah, well, Philippines is now becoming a great tourism destination now
Yeah, I
for
haven't been there.
Aussies. Yeah, and basically there's a lot of getaways in terms about, the beaches in the Philippines, the food, the culture, and just everything in the Philippines at the moment. It's really good. And
Yeah,
there's a
I
lot of
know the
Filipinos and there's a lot of Filipinos now coming to Australia for holidays as well.
oh, there you go. So it is going both
Yeah,
ways.
it is. And more international students are also coming to Australia as well.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's the strengthening of those bonds, isn't it? That it's a win-win and goes
Yeah.
both ways. And yeah, I remember the travel guides. I don't know if you've ever watched the travel guides. It's this funny show where they send these people all different countries,
Yes, that's right.
Australians. And when they went to the Philippines, I have to say, I watched that episode and went, "Oh my God, that place looks amazing. I must get there." So yeah.
It is.
If
There's
you
a
need a
lot of
bag carrier,
secret. Jeanette, you're number one.
thank you. And what would you say has been one of your more notable challenges in terms of Australia and Philippines relationship building?
Red tape,
Okay. On
and
both
it's
sides, or?
in both sides. It sometimes it's very challenging.
Mm.
And basically, and that's what I say to my clients or to people who want to try business is to really reach out to the government agencies and understand the compliances and do their due diligence. I help them in terms about understanding. For example, if you're trying to import and export food, there's a lot of regulations behind that.
Mm.
Certain items has a lot of requirements. Setting up a company in the Philippines, it's kind of challenging. There's about 6 government agencies you have to go through. They're
Oh,
trying to they're trying to streamline that at the moment, but it's still a far away. So I guess government red tape would be the biggest challenge in terms about trying to set up a business or a company in between the two countries as well, and compliance and regulations as well, which is good. I mean, you need to have compliance and regulations to ensure that whatever you sell, whatever you bring in, fits for purpose.
yeah, yeah. And obviously, you mentor and guide clients in
Mm,
terms of knowing what regulations they should be looking into or
that's correct.
trade
Yeah.
agreements. Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
And the good thing about it, Austrade is really good. Austrade is, the federal government trade agency, and they're very helpful in terms about uh, looking at compliances and guidance as well for products and services you're trying to bring in. And if you're trying to export products or services into another country, to the Philippines, and I believe Austrade also provides incentives and rebates and so forth. So they're really trying to promote export opportunities from Australia.
Yeah, so Australia's on board with that globalised perspective.
Mhm.
Just a couple of final questions that I like to ask all my guests to end this episode. If the world, sorry, and your life was to end tomorrow, what would your reflection be on the way working in this space of building relationships between the Philippines and Australia has helped you to live a more fulfilling life?
I guess the legacy that I would leave behind is be able to help people connect with each other. I'm truly grateful with my connections that I have and my reputation and reputable connections that I'd have between the two countries. Over the years, I've connected with some great, powerful people within the government space that I can happy to refer people to if they have an issue trying to bring products, services between the two countries. And I guess be able to see those companies establish their presence or footprint between the two countries, how they thrive, become successful, and help the local community. And I guess that's I'm happy seeing that.
That's
So
lovely.
if my life's going to end tomorrow, the world's going to end tomorrow, I can say I've helped somebody change someone's lives.
Yeah, that's lovely. And would there be any I'm putting you on the spot here, but would there be any standout example of that where that you've helped to build this connection that really moves you?
Yeah, like I said, there's that client who has one of the largest accounting firm here in Melbourne. I took them to a road trip to the Philippines and set up within 7 days, we managed to 30 local talents, set up an office and have some time to show them around. And they were so grateful. They never knew how generous and warming the Filipinos were because they thought Filipinos, oh, okay, just another Asian people. But
Yeah.
when they actually immerse themselves there and show them what Filipinos all about, and they say, wow, this is such an eye opener. And their business continues to thrive today. And I said, that I helped somebody change that. I helped somebody understand what the Philippines is all about.
And that must be so rewarding. Do you think we've our knowledge and an appreciation of the Philippines is continuing to grow in Australia? I don't know a lot about the Philippines, but do you see it's shifting?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you're looking at the aged care system, the health system. You have a lot of Filipinos in there as well, working in the front line. Because Filipinos are born to be caring people. Filipinos are born to be family orientated. So if they're in an aged care facility or caring for the aged, it's about the warmth, the love that they provide. It's not just about a job. It's about looking after the person's individual needs. And I think I can't remember who said that, one of the world leaders, that we need more Filipinos in our lives because of their caring nature.
No, I think I've personally experienced that when my dad was in dementia aged care
Mm,
unit, and I'm pretty sure at least a couple of them were Filipino who supported him, and yeah, they were beautiful people. Totally agree with that.
yeah, and that's why there's more demand of the skill sets. That's one, and also they bring in their warmth, their love, their caring nature, the empathy. To them, it's not about the job; it's about the person they're caring for.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's really lovely. And lastly, this is to indulge me as a career brand consultant. What would your ideal career branding be to convey you as a multi-dimensional human who not only mentors businesses, but also extends trade and investment opportunities between those two nations? Like, what would the core brand elements be if we were to rebrand you? I won't hold you to this, but what would they be?
An effective connector.
Yeah, that's come through strongly in this conversation.
Yeah, so the ability to connect people, to the right organizations.
Yep.
And like I said, building those connections are based on trust, based on credibility as well, and based on mutual respect. And like I said, you don't abuse that connection, you don't abuse that trust, because that helps your branding, that helps you. And you know what, when I connect people, I don't expect anything in return. I just want them connected.
Yeah.
Some people demand a fee or demand something, or said, I'll help you. What about, what's in it for me? I don't like that.
No,
connect
I think
people
we both
based
operate in a similar way in that regard.
exactly, and that helps your reputation, that helps your brand, and basically to be able just to connect those people together in any facets, whether it's business or personal life, and that's what I do, and I love doing that, and
Yeah, and
I'm
yeah,
meeting so many wonderful people out there.
and people wouldn't know, but you've been a regular attendee at a professional networking group that I run, LinkedIn Local
Mhm.
Melbourne East, and that comes through strongly. You not only recommend our group to others in terms of expanding our connections, but you're so warm at the event, so warm and positive, and yeah, it comes through strongly that you really value those authentic, non-hustle connections.
Yeah, non-hustle. That sums it up.
Yeah.
Because connections are important.
Absolutely, yeah. I've learnt a lot doing the networking group, that's for sure. Now, just before we wrap this up, as you're a business mentor who also specialises in building these relationships between Australia and the Philippines. If someone wanted to reach out to you after listening to this podcast, what would be the best way?
So look at my website. It's www.atlasbusiness.consulting, or you can email that through to me, info@atlasbusiness.consulting. And I'm on my LinkedIn page as well under Alex Apawan CSY. And basically you can send me an email, look at my website, or connect with me in LinkedIn.
Yeah, and you really do enjoy meeting people. I can vouch for that. Well,
I
thank
love it.
you. Yeah, thank you so much for your time, Alex. It's been really lovely speaking with you, and you're inspiring me to get over to the Philippines. After watching the tourist guides, I wanted to go there, and you've just inspired me more. So, yes,
Let's
thank
do it,
you.
Jeanette.
Yeah, let's do it. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for listening.
You're very welcome.